Hey there hunters, Lord here, back with another Monster Hunter Wilds endgame set video. If you've not yet tuned into the series, I am covering endgame sets for each of the 14 weapon types here in Monster Hunter Wilds. And in today's video, we are finally getting to Lance. I've really been enjoying the new Lance moves and options here in Monster Hunter Wilds, and I've got a couple of very fun sets ready for you guys. But before we get into those, I do want to give a small spoiler warning. Again, if you clicked on this video, it says Hunter rank 40+, so you probably knew what you're getting into, but just in case you didn't, this is your spoiler warning. If you're not yet to Hunter rank 40 or beyond, or if you're just trying to avoid spoilers, consider saving this video to watch later when you're actually ready to make endgame sets. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Alright, now before we get into the actual sets, we need to do a little housekeeping as far as weapons go. So for Lance, I'm a big fan of the Ardian weapons. I made a Paralysis Lance a while ago and I've been enjoying it quite a bit. However, there are a lot cooler designs in the monster craftable options, so you can definitely feel free to just toss in whatever Lance you like here. There's really no right or wrong answer. These are just general sets. They're not specific around element or specific around raw. You'll be able to element match if you want. You'll be able to just use a poison or blast or paralysis lance if that's your preferred method. Ultimately, it's up to you. Here are the rolls on my Ardian lance, just in case you guys are curious. With the weapons out of the way, today's sets are going to be shown using the set builder over at the Monster Hunter Wilds hub. If you've not yet checked them out, there's a link down in the description. They have an awesome set builder that is one of the best tools you can use to make sets. Especially if you're still working on farming things, you can look at what different armor pieces would do in your set without having to actually unlock them first. Again, this set builder is a great resource, and while it is not fully completed, it's been less than a week since the game came out. The guys behind this site still need their time to also play the game and get the data. However, it is extremely nice to have a set builder of this level this early on in a game's life cycle. So I wanted to show them some support, and you should definitely go check it out. It's a one-stop shop for all sorts of things, not just set building. They have a wiki, they have hit zone values, and much more. Again, there will be a link down in the description, and in the pinned comment, I will leave the set builder links to each of these sets that we will be covering today. So the first set is built around being very aggressive in order to keep burst up. For the weapon, it is the Skyscraper, as I really like the slot efficiency of the Ardian. As you can see, it lets us get in offensive guard 3, razor sharp 3, guard up 3, and guard 3, which is just very nice. But again, you can throw in whatever you like up here. As far as the armor goes, the helmet is the Guardian Ebony Helm Beta with a Destroyer Jewel. The chest is the Arc Vulcan Mail Beta with a Chain and Destroyer Jewel. The arms are the Guardian Ebony Beta with a Jumping Jewel. This is my personal choice. You can definitely go for the third level of Part Breaker with another Destroyer Jewel here. The level 1 slots I have left empty. If you see an empty slot in any of these sets, that means the choice is totally up to you. The waist is the Arc Vulcan Coil Beta, and the legs are the Ray Sandgreaves Beta with a Chain Jewel, and the charm is the Exploiter Charm 2. So as far as skills go, we have Weakness Exploit at level 5 for 30% affinity when attacking weak spots, and an additional 20% on top of that when attacking wounded parts. So you'll have between 30 and 50% affinity on this one. We then have Burst at level 5 with a Raw Lance. This will only give you plus 18 attack, but since we have 2 pieces of Ebony Odogaron armor, this becomes 21 raw attack. However, if you are using an elemental weapon, not only will you get that 21 raw attack, but you will also get an additional 140 element. Now do note, I know there are a lot of people new to this series, and I've got a lot of questions about this, but this is strictly elemental, so this will not work on your statuses. So Poison, Sleep, Parablast will not gain the extra 140, only your actual elements. The reason this is more of our aggressive set is that Burst requires you to hit the monster 5 times in order to activate, and then you have to continually attack the monster. If you stop attacking for between 4 and 5 seconds, Burst will wear off. So this does require you to not just sit there and hold R2, it does require some aggression. We then have Offensive Guard 3 in the weapon for 15% extra attack after we perfectly block. Guard 3 allows us to take less chip damage and maintain a little more stamina when blocking. Razor Sharp 3 is a big favorite of mine as it allows us to have effectively double sharpness, and then Guard Up level 3 allows us to block unblockable attacks. Heartbreaker at level 2 gives us extra part breaking capability, as you would guess by the name, but also gives us plus 20% damage on our focus strikes if they connect with a wound. And then all of the other skills that you see here either are free on the armor or my choices and decorations. For our set bonuses, we already talked a little bit about the Ebony Adogron 2-piece, but basically this just means that burst will take longer to wear off, and you get that bonus 3 attack, taking us from plus 18 at level 5 to plus 21 raw attack. We then have Arkveld's Hunger with the 2-piece of Arc Vulcan armor. We get Haste and Recovery level 1, and after hitting the monster continuously a few times, you will get a tiny chunk of your health back. Now, if you've been watching all my other set videos, you already know this, but it's not a lot of health and it is not so good that we want to build the entire set around it. However, these armor pieces are just so good that we would use them even without this, so having that little bit of HP recovery in the background can definitely help with things like chip damage if you miss a perfect guard and just block normally. So yeah, it's kind of just like a little cherry on top. Again, we'd use this set with or without haste and recovery because the armor is just that useful for what we're trying to do. Now, our second set is what I know most of you came here for, and that is our LifeSteal Lance setup. These are usually very popular during the more recent Monster Hunters, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So, all 5 pieces of armor will be the Guardian Arkveld beta set. You could definitely throw in something different for the legs or arms or chest, for example, but we do want at least 4 pieces of Guardian Arkveld armor. The weapon decorations remain unchanged from the previous set, however, in the head you will want a flare and medicine jewel. In the chest, you can really go for whatever you want here. I like 1 level of Evade Extender to just help close gaps or create gaps between myself and the monster. However, you can throw in whatever you'd like. In the arms, you will need the last 2 medicine jewels, and then the shockproof and 2 protection jewels you see here are my choice. Shockproof is great for multiplayer. I'm assuming a lot of Lance mains like to be that tank in a multiplayer setting, so I would definitely recommend shockproof if you plan to play with friends or randoms. And then in the 2 level 2 slots, you will want 2 more Destroyer Jewel 2s. And of course, the charm is the Exploiter Charm 2. So all in all, for skills, we again have Weakness Exploit level 5, but we also have Flare at level 5. This skill makes wounds easier to create. Now do note, I want to say this has apparently been bugged since the most recent update, and it is not creating wounds like it should. However, the developers are aware of it. I personally sent it directly to a community manager, and he told me he would pass it on to the developers. So hopefully this gets fixed soon, but this really works well with our set bonus as well as Recovery Up 3, but we'll talk more about that when we do get to the set bonuses. We then of course have Offensive Guard, Guard, Razor Sharp, and Guard Up at level 3. Part Breaker at level 3 gives us extra part break capability, as you would assume, but it also gives us plus 30% damage on our focus strikes, and we're going to be using those a lot, as we will talk about in a little bit. Recovery Up 3 also works with our set bonus, and then the other skills you see here at the bottom just come on the armor or are my choices of decoration. Now, with at least 4 pieces of the Guardian Arkveld set, we get Decimator 2, and this skill is incredible for health recovery. This set bonus gives us a hefty chunk of health back whenever we pop a wound. You can do this with a focus strike, or you can do it by just continually attacking the wound with your weapon. However, since we did opt for Part Breaker 3 and that 30% extra damage when doing focus strikes on a wound, I would highly recommend that is the path you take for getting your health back here. We also can couple this with Recovery Up 3, and when we pop a wound, we get a little over 40% of our health back. Now this, of course, is insane, as it allows us to just keep fighting without really needing to stop and get on our Sacred to heal. But this is also why Flare is so important for creating those extra wounds. Again, it's bugged right now, but I'm assuming they will fix it so that way it creates extra wounds. But basically the idea when Flare is actually working is that you will just constantly be creating wounds, and you'll have the monster lit up like a Christmas tree just covered in red glowing aura. And you'll just constantly pop those wounds to get health back, to deal extra damage. And overall, this set is extremely comfortable. It's a ton of fun. It's very easy to use, very user friendly. And with Wex and Offensive Guard and Part Breaker, we're still getting very respectable damage. But yeah guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Just these two sets have been my absolute favorite for Lance. Haven't found a need to spec into anything else. Again, I'm not going to claim that these are the ultimate meta DPS speed running sets, because honestly the game is still far too new to really have developed what is the actual most effective tactic available. However, these are great. They hold their own against everything in the endgame. Lance is an absolute beast here, and you will have a ton of fun no matter which set you choose to use. If you guys did find today's video helpful, if you're going to try out the sets, or if you're going to try a variation of them and give it a go yourself, do consider dropping a like on the video to support it completely for free. If you're new to the channel, new to Monster Hunter, or if you like set videos just like this, as well as guides, tutorials, and even more information about Monster Hunter Wilds, then you should definitely subscribe to the channel. This channel is going to be the best place to find those sorts of things when it comes to Monster Hunter Wilds for years to come, and I'm trying to hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of this month, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. With all that being said, I want to thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I wish you all a good day and happy hunting.